Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club. We like to talk about historical fiction, wild cards, Game of Thrones, and much, much more. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel.
Put on your tinfoil hats, because today I want to talk about one of the most irritating characters in A Song of Ice and Fire, Penny, and why I think George R. R. Martin based her on leprechauns from Irish mythology. Penny first appears in A Storm of Swords when she and her brother Oppo joust for Joffrey at his wedding, but we don't get to know her until A Dance with Dragons, when she meets Tyrion in Volantis. On my first read-through of A Dance with Dragons, I just found Penny irritating and very naive, but on my second read-through, I suddenly realised some things about her were not adding up. My first thought was she was Paisha's daughter by a second husband, who was also a dwarf. I thought this for years, and I actually started making a video about it, and then realised, even if Penny is as young as 17, the timelines do not add up, so I scrapped that idea. I know a lot of people think Penny is an agent of Littlefinger's who is spying on Tyrion, and other people think Penny is Tyrion's moral compass, but neither of these really make sense to me. Why would Penny still be working for Littlefinger when he was indirectly responsible for her brother's murder? And Tyrion continues to do some very shady things after meeting Penny, murdering Nurse for one. Even though Nurse was a horrible person and deserved to die, forcing poison down the throat of an already dying man isn't a very nice thing to do, especially if your supposed moral compass is in the next room of the tent. So I went back to Irish folklore, because we know that has inspired a lot of George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series, and I immediately seen the similarities between Penny and leprechauns, and I'm not just talking about their height, but of course that is a glaring similarity. The more I looked, the more similarities I found between Penny and leprechauns. In Irish folklore, a leprechaun is described as a diminutive, supernatural being, classed by some as a type of solitary fairy. They are usually depicted as small bearded men wearing green or red coats and hats, who partake in mischief, and if caught will grant wishes. There are also a lot of stories that involve leprechauns working in bondage to shoemakers and other craftsmen. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is a more recent invention, and they are definitely not obsessed with marshmallow-flavoured cereal. Getting back on track, let's not forget Penny has been mistaken as male on 4 occasions. First by all the spectators at Joffrey's wedding, second by Quentin Martell, third by the man who killed Oppo, who originally thought he was a boy, and finally by Tyrion, who also assumes Penny is male when he sees her looking at him in Volantis. There is also the fact that when Penny jousts, she wears red armour, and red is a colour normally associated with leprechauns in Irish folklore.
Somewhere down in hell his father was seething, and Joffrey was chuckling. Her shield and armour had been painted red, though the paint was chipped and fading. His own armour was blue. Not mine. Groats. Never mine, I pray.
There are also the animals that Penny owns, Pretty Pig and Crunch the dog. Crunch is described as a large lurcher dog. Irish wolfhounds are often described by people who do not know the difference as large lurchers. I am sure this is not something George R. R. Martin overlooked, and due to their association with prosperity, pigs were seen in Irish culture as good luck. Not all pig beliefs were positive, even in Ireland. If a pig crossed your path, it was an ill omen, and if it made a particular whining noise, it meant there would soon be a death in the family. Pretty Pig seems to whine constantly. Is that something to think about? Leprechauns are often considered helpers in bondage, granting wishes at the will of their master. In this respect, leprechauns could be considered slaves, and Penny, the leprechaun, seems to have very little problem being a slave when they are in Marine.
Slaves. The word you want is slaves. Slaves, she said, flushing. We were his special slaves, though, just like sweets, his treasures. His pets, thought Tyrion, and he loved us so much that he sent us to the pit, to be devoured by lions.
Penny even talks up slavery, describing how her father bought his freedom from a slaver.
Penny. His own father sold him to a slaver when he was 3, but he grew up to be such a famous mummer that he bought his freedom.
This indicates to me that Penny comes from a long line of leprechauns who have no problem serving their masters, whether that master be Oppo, Tyrion, or a slaver, and that they can all expect bittersweet, unexpected results. Joffrey, Oppo, and the Yellow Whale are all dead. So can Tyrion expect to be the next Penny Master to die? Or now that Penny is in the Second Sons, does she consider Brown Ben Plum her master? The whole thing reminds me of the movie Darby O'Gill and the Little People, and Penny's world view confirms that idea, I believe.
You mustn't mock him. Don't you know anything? You can't talk that way to a big person. They can hurt you. Ser Jorah could have tossed you in the sea. The sailors would have laughed to see you drown. You have to be careful around big people. Be jolly and playful with them. Keep them smiling, make them laugh. That's what my father always said. Didn't your father ever tell you how to act with big people?
There is also Penny's name to consider, because we all know how much meaning George R. R. Martin puts in his characters' names. Penny is a girl's name of English origin, and it is the shortened version of Penelope, meaning weaver. But Penny is just Penny, not Penelope.
The poor creature's name is Penny. I know her name. He hated her name. Her brother had gone by the name of Groat, though his true name had been Oppo. Groat and Penny, the smallest coins worth the least, and what's worse, they chose the names themselves. It had left a bad taste in Tyrion's mouth.
So, if her name is just Penny, we need to talk about the symbolism of pennies. Pennies are a symbol of new beginnings, purity, and good luck in many cultures. Leprechauns are normally considered very lucky, and Tyrion thinks Penny is too pure and naive for this world. But I cannot stop thinking about how death seems to keep following the people Penny serves. Joffrey, Oppo, the Yellow Whale, who will be next? My guess is Brown Ben Plum. I think Penny is lucky personally, but whoever she serves is doomed for death. Joffrey died of poison. Oppo died of violence. The Yellow Whale died of sickness. Fire and water are the two methods not yet used, and seeing that Penny is slap bang in the middle of the Battle of Fire over in Marine, I think Brown Ben Plum and his drop of dragon blood may be burnt to a crisp, as I think, like many, he may try to ride a dragon. And Tyrion seems to be very scared of drowning after falling off the Shy Maid. Who knows where Penny's curse will land next? I personally don't like Penny's character, and I think there is much more to her than Tyrion assumes. And as there is very little information to go on regarding her and other characters' plots, I think she is just a symbol of bad luck for whoever she follows. I am eagerly awaiting the winds of winter to find out if I am right.
But what do you think? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And as always, this is just my opinion. Please remember to help out and like this video if you enjoyed it. You can also follow me on Instagram at Lady Jessica Riddell and on Twitter at Jessams. I post on Twitter regularly about my videos. If you want to see more book reviews, character comparisons and fan theories, please subscribe to Jessie Bear Book Club. I try to post a new video at least once a week. See you next time on Jessie Bear Book Club. Bye!